So for this video, I'm going to be chatting about my February TBR, all of the books that I plan and hope to get to in the month of February. So far, January is going pretty good. I've read almost everything that I've wanted to read. So if I can get all of the books that I'm supposed to read in January done, I have 11 books that I would love to get to in February. Work has been pretty busy lately, so I haven't been doing a lot of reading. Hopefully I can catch up on January and nothing bleeds into February, which then a bunch of February books would probably bleed into March, but that's another story for another day. But I want to go over the 11 books that I would love to get to in the month of February. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, let's start with the Stephen King Book Club. January started out great with different seasons. Many people have read that so far and really enjoyed it. For February, our pick will be From a Buick 8. Now, I read this a long time ago, and while it's not one of my all-time favorite King books, it was pretty good for what it was. Kind of my main complaint was that it was too long, which is ironic because it's kind of short. This really should have been a novella, but I do think it has a cool premise with some interesting characters and some pseudo Dark Tower elements, possibly. It's not a Dark Tower book by any means, but it's got some interesting stuff in here. It's King writing yet another weird car story, and this one kind of deals with cops telling a story about this Buick 8 and some weird stuff that might be in the trunk of it. So yeah, it's a weird one, but it was pretty good. Again, not one of my all-time favorites, but I'm very interested to see what people think of this, because this is one of King's less popular books. Maybe people don't hate this book, but a lot of people have not read this book. So it's going to be interesting to see what people think of it, because a lot of y'all probably haven't even read the book. So definitely excited to see what y'all think of this one. Next up, we're continuing with the Gentleman Bastard series. In January, we read or reread The Lies of Locke Lamora, one of my all-time favorites. And now we get to the sequel, Red Seas Under Red Skies, of course by Scott Lynch, book number 2. This one is just as good as the first book, although I do love the first book just a little bit more. This second book is still excellent, 5 stars, and a lot of people have not read this one yet. A lot of people have read the first book, but haven't continued on, like with my wife. Like, she's read the first book now 3 times, and yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what Stacy thinks of book 2 and all of y'all joining. Hopefully y'all enjoy book 2 just as much as you did book 1. Excellent continuation to the series. Another series that I will be continuing with, fantasy series, is War for the Rose Throne. This is the second book, Priest of Lies, by Peter McLean. I'm right now in the middle of Priest of Bones, which is a reread for me. I read that book last year and then fell behind on that, so I'm rereading book 1, and then in book 2 I hope to get to in February. And yeah, so far book 1 is very good, and hopefully the sequel is just as good, or if not better. We also have a buddy read going along on the Bookish-Turmer Discord. By the way, a lot of these books are going to have channels open on the Bookish-Turmer Discord, and another buddy read that we're going to be doing is Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. I can't pronounce this guy's name, but this is supposed to be one of the best classics of all time, kind of Russian, well, not Russian inspired, it's Russian. But yeah, it's supposed to be one of the better classics of all time. I've never read anything by this author, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to jump into this and see how it is. One book that just became available on Libby for the audiobook, and a book that it was gifted to me for Christmas, is The Whispers by Ashley Aldrain, the same author as The Push. I read that a few years back and really enjoyed that book, and was eagerly awaiting a follow-up sophomore effort for this author. I really have no idea what this book is about, but I love The Push so much that I trust this author, and I'm just going to jump into this book not knowing anything and just trust the author, and hopefully it's good. Again, I have no idea what this book is about. So one of my goals for the year is to get to a lot of my unread physical TBR on my bookshelves, and every month I do at least one, if not a couple, random number generators just to pick a random book for me to read. And one of the books that was randomly chosen for me was The Bard's Blade by Brian D. Anderson. This is the first book in the, I don't even remember what the series is called, but I think it's a trilogy, and I've had this book for a while, and the premise sounds interesting, and yeah, I'm gonna get to it, read book 1, If I like it, I'll continue with the series. If not, I can unhaul it and then scratch off another series. And so yeah, it's good that I'm finally getting to this book. Have y'all read this book? Let me know if y'all have and what you think of it. So those are all of the books that I own physically that I want to read for February. Now jumping into all of the ones that I don't own, which I'll have to edit up here in the thingy. But our Throw, Chill, or Kill pick for the month of February is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. Now I've read 2 books by her, really enjoyed one of them, which was Daisy Darker. And then the other one, His and Hers, was okay. That was like a 3-star book. I'm definitely excited to check this one out. Hopefully it's on the Daisy Darker side, not His and Hers side, but she's definitely an author that I want to try to get to more of because she's written a bunch of books. And yeah, I'm definitely excited. This is a new release. I believe this came out in January, so fairly new. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to check this one out. And it will also, it's Thrill, Chill, or Kill, so it'll have another book discussion channel on the Bookish Termer Discord. Like I said, tons of buddy reads and read-alongs happening this year. And if you're unaware, I do have a Patreon, and every month I do a Patreon wheel spin, and the winner gets to choose a book for me to read, any book that they want. And this month's winner was Dyslexicon, and he wants me to read Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. Another name I can't pronounce. But anyway, this book, I think it's like a 20-hour audiobook. I have it on Libby. It's supposed to be an historical fiction coming of age tale. I'm not entirely sure what it's about. I'm reading this off of Goodreads actually. It says it's set in the mountains of southern Appalachia, and it's got a really good rating. Wow, it's a 4.49 with 600,000 ratings. Good Lord. So if I don't like this, I'm definitely going to be in the minority, but I'm just going to jump into it not knowing a whole lot, and who knows, it might be a new favorite. I will also be checking out The One by John Mars, and we're also doing a year-long read-along for John Mars, doing at least one of his books a month. And I'm not going to read all of them because not all of them particularly sound interesting to me, but this one definitely sounds interesting. It has the premise where you send your DNA off to this company, and they're supposed to find you your perfect match. So like the person that you're destined to be married with, through your DNA somehow. And I think you're following like 4 or 5 couples or people, and they're matched together, but in weird ways. Like I think one of them is like a cop who's matched with like a serial killer. I think that's what Stacy said that really got me intrigued with this book. So yeah, it'll be an interesting premise. I've enjoyed The Passengers by this author, and then there was another book, I think Keep It in the Family, which I didn't really like too much. So hopefully it's as good as The Passengers, and with the premise, it sounds really cool. So hopefully it's good. There's also another new release thriller that I'm really excited for. It's called A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. I've read a couple of this author's books. No One Can Know was pretty good, and What Lies in the Woods was really good. This is their new release coming out in February. I hope that I can find an audiobook somehow, or if not, I'll just get it on Audible. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to check this one out. Again, I like to jump into thrillers not really knowing too much, so I'm just going to trust the author and hope that it's good. If y'all somehow have already read this book, let me know if it's good, if you liked it or didn't like it. And also, should I have another buddy read channel open for it? Like, are y'all excited to read this one as well? Might as well make another one. And the last book that I'm planning to get to in the month of February is You Know What You Did by K.T. Youngwin. Again, another name that I can't pronounce. This is just kind of a random thriller that someone picked for me. Again, we do all kinds of stuff on the Bookish Termer Discord. This one was picked through a random number generator game, where every month on the Discord, I randomly choose a number between 1 and 100, and everyone on the Discord gets to guess what that number is, and whoever is the closest or gets the book right on the money gets to pick a book from my Goodreads TBR. And I believe Stacy, not my wife Stacy, but other Stacy, she won. She got the closest, and she wants me to check this book out. It does not have a very good Goodreads rating from what I remember, 3.36. But sometimes, thrillers and horrors can have low ratings, and I end up really loving them. Some of my favorite horror books of all time: Imaginary Friend, Just Like Home, Zoe Stage. Like, people don't like it, but I do. So I'm going to give the book a fair shot. Hopefully I don't DNF it, but you never know nowadays. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to check it out. So those are the books that I'm planning on getting to in February. If I can at least get to those books, that would be great. Some books that I still have left to read in January is obviously Priest of Bones, which I'm about like a third of the way through that. I should be able to finish it. I think it's January 26th when I'm filming this, so I still have like 5 or 6 days left of the month, so should be able to finish that. There's also a couple of books that Ian is making me read. I'll link down his video where Ian recommends me and my wife Stacy 3 books to read. I've already DNF'd one of them, which I felt bad about, called Looking Glass Sound. I'll talk a little bit more about that in my January wrap-up. But he did have 2 other books that he wanted me to read, and then a backup book. So I want to read Boys in the Valley, which is his backup book, in January. And then I also want to read one of his original picks, The Echo Man. I want to read that in January. I have both of those books on Hoopla, both audiobooks. I should be able to get to those at the end of the month. If not, those will be carried over into February, which how that will impact these February books that I want to read, I guess we'll see. And then his other book, which is not very convenient because it's super long, is Lonesome Dove, which is, I think, about a 40-hour audiobook. I really don't know when I'm going to have time to read that. Maybe, you know what? No, February is the shortest month of the year. I'm not going to have time. Maybe March. Maybe I'll just slot that for March and just call it a day. But yeah, and then also the other thing is we have so many library cards now that we have a lot of holds on Libby. So we also have the Reformatory, which was gifted to me by Ian. Again, that hold comes in 4 weeks. I don't think I'm going to be able to squeeze that into February, but I guess we'll see. And then we also have a book called Burn the Negative, which is available in 4 weeks. That one's shorter, maybe that could be into February. And then One by One by Frida McFadden, I'm not like super excited about anyway. That's like 6 weeks. Maybe I'll save that one for March. But yeah, there's still a lot of books I want to read, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, that's basically my plan. I don't remember if I've already clapped or not, so. But yeah, that's my plan essentially for February. Lots of buddy reads and read-alongs. So if you're not already a part of the Book Astronomer Discord, link down below. If you're interested at all in buddy reading any of these books, let me know. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Continue to subscribe to the channel, or subscribe if you haven't already for more of me. Yay! And Book Astronomer Discord, link down below, like I said. Patreon, link down below. You can support me there for as little as $1 a month. And like I mentioned, the Patreon wheel spin, if you win that, you get to pick any book that you want me to read. So it's a lot of fun. And Amazon wishlist if you'd like to buy me a book. Not that I need them, because I have a lot of books that I want to get to, but I won't ever say no to a free book. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a fantastic day.